Something is happening right now, which I am so invigorated about, and I feel that I'm going to make you love this thing too. Talk radio, our world, talk radio platform is so boring. Information, whatever you call this thing that we do, whatever this is, whether it's Rogan, and I don't really fit in as boring. I know Rogan's good, but Rogan's Tucker, eh. Rogan, I'm still saying is the most important person, bar none. But there's nothing really that's I mean, where's the controversy? Candace Owens, you go nuts over it. She's mad at Ben Shapiro. It's chicken shite. It's nothing. And then on January the 3rd, something happened which I just kind of bumped into. I wasn't particularly, but as you know, I will learn anything overnight. Overnight. If something is interesting, if something is culturally relevant, I'm all over it. So something happened. There was a fellow named Katt Williams. Interesting comedian, very good. Knew who he was. You know me. I wasn't really into the comedy, but he's good. And he was on this show, the Shay Shay, Shannon Sharpe, ex-football player, and he does his usual things. And I've seen him and say, okay, yeah, there's a million of these things, and nothing really grabbed my attention. It was interesting, and I liked it. It was very good. Okay, great, terrific. All righty. Well, then it was holy God. This was a shoot, and in wrestling parlance, a shoot is the real thing. A shoot is when you're in there. In the old days, somebody like a Luthez or an old timer would take this young pup and hurt him. I one time heard it. Luthez told us how he stretched this guy's legs up because he didn't respect the old man. And Luthez would kill you. He was a hooker, not a prostitute, but in the wrestling terms, I mean Ed Strangler Lewis. Okay, so every now and then something happens and it gets real. But normally and I'm going to say this, and please forgive me initially, when white folks comedian, it's very like right now, Russell Brand seen out with his family. Russell Brand took off. Why? Because he's allegations of this and that. Okay, fine. Okay. And then there was somebody said something. I mean, it's just boring. Everybody runs away, and it's so milquetoast. Everything. And I'm saying that's why in the old days, the closest thing I ever saw was when Alex Jones was just driving people crazy when the internet was just. It reminds me kind of the old days. Okay, so I'm jumping into this thing. Oh man, it's a veritable. It's Katt Williams. This is a shoot. Talks about and please, just Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart, Scary Owens, this Taraji, Monique, Trump, Ludacris. He mentions the Illuminati. The Illuminati. Oh, this is beautiful. This is oh my. He's after me. The Illuminati. I haven't never. Whoever uses that term. Michael Blackston, Faison, Love, Diddy, Kanye. I mean, all the stuff that I'm telling you doesn't really mention whatever. But Steve Harvey. Oh my God, Harvey Weinstein, Cedric the Entertainer. He just goes after everybody and destroys it. Martin Lawrence speaks highly of Dave Chappelle. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. It is like, oh my, this is great. And it's wrestling, pure 100%. They're shooting on everybody. Do not be surprised. I hope, please, Mr. Williams, I hope your bodyguards are double down, because let me tell you something. There is something that we have seen, and let me try to say this in a way that I'm just going to say it. There used to be people in the music business. Who was that guy? Morris Levy? What's his name? Is that it? Was that Buddha Records? And that, the mob used to be Death Row. You've got, Tupac, and you've got shootings, and this one shot. I mean, these people are serious. Please be careful. He went after everybody, and I love it. It's the most exciting thing ever. And you know why? I'll tell you why. Because it's the truth. And the truth, when I say the truth, I can't verify everything he's saying, but the thing is, he's not talking about, he's not in trouble because he made a racial joke, or because he said something about Israel, or we do this stuff. So the biggest thing in our, okay, it's not white or black, but let's whatever. In our world, what's the biggest thing? Did you hear what he said about Israel? That's it? Oh, wow. Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro really got into it. About what? Oh, Dennis Prager was he? Why you? Okay, take that over here. Let's move over to this particular arena. It is so bloodthirsty. It's exciting. And he talks about, and you've got to, I've listened a couple of times. Let me tell you something. He talks about kids. He talks about the fact that they can't read. He talks about ignorant certain performers that are the reason why they made it because they're ignorant. He talks about, oh my God, you name it. And he does speak about Trump. He's deep down inside. I would venture to say, because he's older, but he talks about predators. He talks about imposters. He talks about the chosen ones. He talks about stuff that's great. And I realize that there's nothing. Name one thing. Name one exciting, like, did you see that? Have you ever heard this? Did you see Hannity? No. Did you see when they had the studio audience, he threw the football and he misjudged it, hit that old lady in the head? I mean, I'm just making that up, but who? I mean, they had Leo Terrell, by the way, who's a great man, by the way. Leo Terrell is a sweetheart. But who? Where is the, did you hear Tucker? Oh my God, he talked about UFOs. Oh my God. There's nothing. The closest thing was, did you hear Brianna Joy? Boy, she tore that Bobby Kennedy Jr. about Gaza. I was like, this is okay. It's interesting, but we do nothing that's interesting. There's no passion. Nobody gets excited. How about the biggest fraud? Howard Stern, who only was interesting when he couldn't say anything. And he, in retrospect, was like, this is the biggest bunch of crap anybody's ever heard. I remember when Don Imus, who was a real prick in real life, he was just, and everybody knew it too. He was just rude. And anyway. So when he died, they did this kind of retrospective, and they played back his funny his bits. It was nothing. There was nothing. Oh, I realized this. I'm listening to it. Mrs. Ellen, I'm saying, listen to this. I said, can you believe what we're talking? Talks about Kim Kardashian. I mean, and you know what? What's interesting about it is that it's true. And you talk about Hollywood. And what is that also about? It's about he uses the word a plan. What do you think politics is? Where do you think Nikki Haley came from? What do you think Chris Christie? Do these people represent the best and the brightest? Come on, don't even make me laugh. Don't even make me laugh. Our world is I am so bored. I've been just immersed in this and loving it. I realized I don't want to go back to that. I'm going to stay here. I want to follow this. This is exciting. And also, some of the best, and let me tell you, listen to what I'm saying. Some of the best, and I apologize, I was never privy to this. Some of the best natural talent, honest to God, real, legitimate, good stuff. I mean, good stuff is from a lot of Black, African American, urban folks doing their own podcasts, their own things. And it's great. And you know why it's great? It's probably something that you've never thought about because you've never seen this and because you've never, ever really been a part of it. It's great because it is so monumentally honest. It's honest. Now, let me just say something right now. This is a wonderful segue. I think it's a segue. It's not even blatant. I want you to know something. On February the 3rd, I don't do this stuff, but that's fine. But what I do, he can't do. No, I'll say this right now. Of course, he might say, I don't want to do that. That's not a very lucrative thing to do. Yeah, but you can't do it. I don't want to do it. But I'm going to be at New York City's fabled Cutting Room on February the 3rd doing my thing. Look, you got to keep it real, whatever that means. You got to keeping it real, whatever. That's all I know. This is my thing. So anyway, please make it a point. Be there, friends. Doors open. Look, you know the routine. I'm not going to bludgeon you with this. You got it. You're smart. That's how you got here. That's why you're here in the first place. Where in the hell is this thing? Okay, here we go. There we go. All right. Now, thank you for that. Now, let me tell you something. We are so used to boring, it's not even funny. Who is exciting today? Who makes your blood boil? What are the real controversies? Who goes after who? What? There was one the other day where you're going to love this one. Rabbi Shmuley, who, by the way, is a very nice man. No, he really is. But by the way, he is 100%. He has been 100% Israel diehard forever. Fine. Rabbi Shmuley, I think you can probably do the math. He was apparently at some kind of an ice skating rink, and somebody came up with him and said, I'd like to ask you something about Palestinian. And they went at it. Okay, that's as close as it gets. And I hope it's not violent, but it's boring. A Bobby Kennedy interview? Boring. The closest thing that we ever got to this, Donald Trump. Donald Trump loves, and by the way, you may not believe so, Black folks, not all, love Donald Trump. The Black community is far more sophisticated, but also conservative. And that's something, but when I mean conservative, I mean more like what they say about gay lifestyles and LGBTQ would get any white performer banned forever. And they say this with a frequency and a seemingly an impunity. And I think to myself, my God, they say whatever they want. Black comics, Black, whatever. Anything they want. I am so bored with our world. We don't talk. Be careful. Let me ask you something. Who is scary, exciting, ribald, really rambunctious? Who makes you think, wow, did they say that? Who? There's the sugar man. Where the hell have you been? Where have you been? Christos Stavros in the house, ladies and gentlemen. CS. Where? Who? What? Who? Name it. Anybody? Who? Tell me. Anybody? Who? other than Christos. Who? Who is it? Who? In our country, okay, it's in our country. Who? Yeah, who? Who? Roger Stone. You know, Roger Stone, I will say this about Roger Stone. He's very ballsy, but Roger Stone kind of goes with. Remember when Roger Stone found Jesus? Remember that? Right after the time of the year. I mean, I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh. When he was on trial and remember that 4 a.m. those the ninja arrest. Remember CNN? And they, hey, what are you doing here? We just happen to be here. Hey, there's an arrest. But he found Jesus. Yeah, okay. All right. Please leave Jesus out of this. Roger Stone, okay. I don't think I mean, he's very good, but I mean, he doesn't shake you to a core. Alex in the old days. But what Alex did was it turned into just screaming a little bit of the content. It was you can't replace. Well, who do we have? What? Ann Coulter? I'm not asking you to name people that you know. Whitney Webb? You're talking shocking? I'm talking in our world. Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle is also. You know what Dave Chappelle's doing? There's nothing shocking. He's becoming already. His whole thing is now is like he's going after LGBTQ. Saying okay, fine, or OJ or whatever it is. He's a great comic. There's no doubt about that. Who shocks you? You watch this. I've never seen anything like. You know who this is? Used to be. Let me tell you who it is. You know who I thought about this? Honey, you know who Katt Williams is? Pat Cooper. Pat Cooper, the great Pat Cooper. Go and watch him on Tom Snyder. The Tom Snyder when he was talking about Lola Falana and Jerry Vale. Oh my, he hated everybody. When I mean hated, only people he loved Sergio Franchi, whatever, but he went after Lola Falana and Jerry Vale and and he goes, these people about they can't brutal. And as soon as they said, all right, you're done. And then I think Stern would ambush him, that thing with his son and all that. Was just, I didn't like any of that from what I heard about this after the fact. But he was as close to it as anybody I've ever seen. Who goes out there and speaks the truth? Nobody. Ricky Gervais, close. Kim, close. I think you're right about that. I think you're right. Ricky Gervais, don't you think, honey? With the going after Harvey Weinstein and the pedo. Well, he's yes. I would say that our friend Roseanne, when she was her thing wasn't meant to be. She didn't go after and kind of. She wasn't trying to not to hurt people. I think she said something, and I just think people wanted to take her down a notch. I just think she was targeted. I think what she said, if she was anybody else, you should hear what Katt Williams says about Michelle Obama. Oh my God. You'd get arrested if you said this. I mean, and the reason why it's so funny is it's true because the double standard is alive and well. Jordan B says, Lionel, curious, are you into terrestrial radio? That is ham, citizen band. Been having some interesting conversations via antenna to antenna recently. I am not, sir, or ma'am. I don't know. But I used to be years ago. Closest thing I ever did was CB radio in the 70s. But I do not. But that's a little too micro, whatever. But thank you. Jim Brewer, Jim Brewer, sort of, he's coming around. Shocking, no. Bill Burr, shocking, more. Yes. Close. Yes. We like this. But nothing like Katt Williams. There's the subject matter, but to go after people. To hear somebody go after this Sebastian Maniscalco or having Sebastian go after whoever the people could rip Jerry Seinfeld a new one, or something like that would be. But that's not it, because it's always nice. It's all phony. And this is in the comedy world. That awful show. Did you ever see that terrible show? Comedians in cars having coffee. They just laugh at each other. They laugh. Sarah Silverman and her poop jokes. Seriously, nothing. Nothing shocking. Nothing where you think, oh my God. And Richard Pryor in his day, yes. And I think there is something, I think it is cultural. I think there's something that is far more interesting. I think that black humor or black professional, whatever, is far more exciting. It's loud. It's dangerous. It's verbally violent. I love it. And I'm not necessarily saying I appreciate I told you, the best talk radio you'll hear is sports, which is just perfect because that's all personality, and that's knowledge. Latino morning, kind of like Hot 97 stuff, remember? But also black morning. They're bigger than anything. There is no comparison. There is no comparison. I don't know if anybody in the rock world makes as much, if whatever, as people in the rap industry. You talk about an absolute fun, but here's the thing, and this is what I find interesting. The rap world is not just here's the music. It's almost the way. Do you remember in the 70s when you put a thing on your car that said which radio station you listened to? Do you remember when radio was kind of dangerous? Dangerous. I remember. I'm fascinated. Remember I was doing Norman Finkelstein doing Rapper's Delight, which I think was pretty funny to me. Maybe not to you. But at first it was with a hip, a hop, a hibbit, the bounce on boogie. Okay, fine, cute. And then there was Don't Blame It on Sunshine, Michael Jackson. Ooh. I mean, Prince, Raspberry Beret. Hey! And then all of a sudden, kill the cops. Oh my God. And this, and P, this, and suck. I was like, wow. Now, I don't particularly necessarily ascribe to that. Can you imagine that playing a couple on their 50th anniversary, and you're just like, could make a replay? Yes. What is that thing about? Who was it did the swap, the wamp? What's that called? The twop? Twop. Wop. Wap. I really don't know. Can you do that? Yes, my wife and I are having our 50th. Could you play that? Get my motherfucker. Whoa. Wow. Yeah, wow. Wow. Hey, that was our song. When your grandma and I were special. Slap that. Okay. I think that was great. Here we go. Closest thing we ever had. Frank Zappa. Remember Dynamo Hum? Dynamo Hum. That's good. I whipped down the bloomers and I stiffened my thumb and applied rotation to a sugar plum. Dynamo. Oh boy, wow. That was something. There is nothing. Gangster rap, NWA, the look, the scowl, how it went from the hip to that. And it all started in the Bronx at an apartment complex or a building, and they know exactly where it started. And it was dear God, soul. That was my era. That was my love. Motown, Philly sound, R&B, move over. And the first time people said, this is going to be bigger than anything anybody has ever seen. Have you ever heard of anybody in the world of rap ever being banned because they were too filthy or the message was too hateful. Did you ever hear about that? How we have Elisa Font. Do you advocate genocide? Is there a contextual? It's free speech. And the black community and rap, anything. Nobody's ever been. All right, you can't say that. I'm sorry. When I was in Florida years ago, I met Luke. Remember Luke Skywalker from it was not Run DMC. What was the name of that group? You know what I'm talking about. Oh God. All right, hang on a minute. Rap. Luke Skywalker. They were. It was. Oh yeah, no, Uncle Luke. Luther Campbell. Remember that, Luke? It was Two Live Crew. Okay, Two Live Crew. And I met them. And I thought they were the biggest thing, and everybody wanted to buy their stuff because it was so filthy, and it was. And the more they did it, it was great, and I loved it. I didn't like the music. I just love it's who I am. What do we do? Who? What did we do to him? Remember the Grease man? He told a joke. Banished. Okay, not a funny joke. Ooh, was Pete Seeger, remember the Weavers? Shut him down. Commie, Now, Paul Robeson, different story. This is the most important thing I've ever seen in my life. What is happening right now? Do yourself a favor. Listen to the brutal. I don't even know if it's true. Don't be surprised if one day you hear Katt Williams. His name on the stage was Katt Williams. On January 3rd, he decided to take on the community. His body was found riddled with. Be careful, because this is. When was the last time anybody ever said, be careful? That Dennis Prager will come after you. What? We are so boring. So monumentally. Okay, very quickly. I'm going to say something right now, because this is true. Let me tell you something. You want to put somebody into You're gonna laugh when I say this. You know who is gangster as hell? Gangsta. I call him gangsta. Mike Lindell. Did you ever see Mike Lindell? On that? Let me tell you. On that deposition. One of the funniest things ever. You go to mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. mypillow.com/Lionel. And this is just a snapshot of the deals you will get. It is absolutely, positively incredible. mypillow.com, promo code Lionel. Get a free gift, save a ton of money, and he is gangsta. He is as tough as they get. You know who it is too? Trump. Mike Lindell. Watch Mike Lindell. These people are tough. I mean, they are tough. Remember Russell Brand? I'm so sorry. Okay, fine. It's sexual battery. I know it's a different story. I know. But there's something about how about R. Kelly? Not somebody that I advocate in any way. Some of these people are predators, but he's one of the few. Who else, honey? R. Kelly? Who else? I mean, you never hear. You talk about protected, and this guy, and he goes after Weinstein. Oh, Weinstein. Tonight's a Golden Globes or something. Some of the biggest phonies, these actresses, forget this Me Too, who owe their life to Harvey Weinstein. He was railroaded. You heard me, railroaded. He's not the worst guy around. He's not the best guy. He's a real sleaze. But what they did, by doing the similar fact evidence, no. And there are women right there. You think somebody would say, hey, wait a minute. He made me. All right, it was creepy and it was disgusting, okay? But he delivered. He delivered for me, and so did you, and you, and you, and you. Okay, so don't give me this Me Too business. He's a creep and he's a sponge. I made that word up. And he may go to the prison for, and that's fine. But you Hollywood types, and that's what this Katt Williams did. He went after, he calls them plants, the chosen. Let me ask you a question. You ready for this? Let me ask you a question. You know when people say, where did Epstein get his money? They won't even ask the questions about that. I am gangsta. Gangsta. This week, tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a show with Natalie from a show called Redacted. And we're going to talk about Epstein and Natalie Moore. And I have been saying, how many times have I been saying, excuse me, the only issue here is who has the tapes. I'm the only person. It's like, that's so rare. Yes. Nobody's talking about that. Really? Nobody. Nobody? Nobody. Nobody's talking about that. It's the most incredible thing anybody's ever seen. Nobody. I don't understand it. There is something, if anything, if there's a group of people who, by the way, and I will say this, if there's a group of people who hate victimization. Now, let me just say this with qualification, because there's a whole, we can get into this, we can play around. And I know I'm being very, very generalized here. But if there is a group of people that basically hate this, it's the Katt Williams group, especially when they talk about how people in the industry were owned and the phonies and all of these, a lot of actors who all of a sudden are wearing dresses, which is okay. Milton Berle, right? Some like it hot, hasty pudding. But he calls them out. He calls out hypocrisy. I'm going to say it again. I've never seen anything like this. And you might, and maybe I'm just new to this, because this is not my particular wheelhouse. It's not my purview. It's not my ken, as it were. It's not that. I'm telling you, though, there's something about it right now. The thing that is the most important part that I crave is the truth. What I absolutely crave is the truth. Wouldn't you love to go to the end of the Fox News and say, what did you people do to protect Tucker? What did you ever do? Did you ever go to management? You are this group. Did you ever go to the Murdochs and say, hey, what did Tucker ever do? What did he do? Why is he being fired? What is going on here? You were the biggest bunch of phonies ever. Roger Ailes, no, they were just glad he's gone. Why? Because he posed a threat to them. Nobody stands up for this. What have they ever said? What has Laura Ingraham ever said where people said, oh my God? Ann Coulter? Cernovich? I mean, they're okay, but listen, you don't have to be. What is it? Dick Dickerson says, I was in St. Thomas last year working on corporate jets. The locals swear Epstein's alive and living on Oprah's yacht, which is moored there a lot. Okay, well, first of all, Dick, number one, you don't want him alive. Do I have to say this to you? You don't. You don't. I mean, I would love to think that's true. Where do you think these people go? On Oprah's yacht? That's not where they're going to put him. They're going to put him on something off of Route 3 in Clifton or something, or some little, Motel 6 or something. He'll be like a witness protection. You're going to put Epstein on an Oprah boat? And when he says, hey, are you No, I'm not. Wait a minute. That's Epstein. What are you going to do with him? Remember the people who believed that Bobby Kennedy Jr. was alive? Remember that one? I couldn't believe it. There he is. Who? What was his name? Fugazi or Fusco or something? It was a name. Yeah, it was a name. I say, what? That's not Bobby, huh? Yeah, the name. That's him. That's Bobby. Yeah. Whatever happened? I couldn't. I want to say, hey guys, look. This is when I said, okay, thank you. Oh, honey, I just looked up. There's a apparently. Hang on. There's somebody who a man. There's some people who have that name who passed away. I'm getting obituaries. Oh no. It was here we go. Fusca. Yeah, Fusca. Ah, yeah. Just, uh, what? Remember that one? I said, where did this one killed me? And I'm saying, okay. You're saying Bobby, excuse me, John Kennedy Jr. is alive. Yes. Because this is when I said, oh my God. Oh my, I said, okay, let's work through this. All right. So Caroline Bessette, right? She was on the plane, and Lauren, Caroline's sister, said, listen, I got bad news. Well, I got good news, but we're not going to die in the crash. I'm sorry, I don't mean to make a joke about this, but we're going to have to live a separate life. I'm going to take on the name Fusca, and I'm going to sit behind Trump at a rally after nobody has seen me, after the Navy did a burial at sea, after they probated wills, after did all this stuff, and we've been living, I don't know where, maybe in a whatever, and we're going to just and our families either can't know this, but we're going to be off and we're going to be alive, and I'm going to surface after all these years and sit behind Trump. And there were people that I know who believed this. And I said, you're not even thinking this thing through. Okay, let's assume the premise of this. How do you do that? What is the purpose of faking a death? There was no Trump then. Why would he do it then? What is the purpose then? It's just, and people dug their heels. You don't understand. No, you don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. I guess it could be, but it doesn't make any sense. Epstein's still alive. Where is he? He's going to talk. You don't think this guy's pissed off? I lost everything. I lost my island. I lost my mansion. I lost my woman. I've been desperate. Ghislaine, they got hurt. Who ratted me out? Oh, yeah, I'll keep quiet. I'll be over here. You're going to take me from Teterboro Airport all the way to MCC, kill me, or I'll hang myself, and then I'm supposed to be. Why don't you just let me disappear? Let me just disappear one day. The financial world today was shocked with the disappearance of Jeffrey Epstein, a man you may or may not know who just disappeared into the abyss of nothing. Okay, that's it. That would have been good, or they could have run. But no, this is just, what? How does this work? Anyway, I told you, here we go. You're going to love this one. John McGuire couldn't get hired, said Bob Joyce, a pastor, as Elvis hiding out makes more sense than John Jr. At least he can kind of sing like Elvis. Well, this goes to show you how so many people don't ever think through even remotely the possibility of a lot of these things even happening in the first place. Some of the stuff just doesn't make any sense. You couldn't pull it off. It causes more problems than it does anything else. I don't know. Back to Katt Williams. They would talk about this. They would talk about anything. They would talk about 9/11 or COVID, or they would talk about anything. Anything. Nobody would shut him up. Nobody. Nobody. There's no the regular plain old milk toast group, they get shut down. You know. Do you think Kathy Griffin would have been shut? It's almost as like nobody listens to what they're saying. And another thing too is if you listen to, remember Evenings at the Apollo? Dick Dickerson said, just reporting what I heard. Didn't say I believe it. Oh, no, I'm not saying he did. I bet at least he filmed the tape spilling his beans, and that's what Megyn Kelly was talking about. No, Megyn Kelly. Don't even bother. It's not that he made a tape. Let me try this again, Dick. The tape is the tape and the tapes that have been made for and kept for decades. There are recordings of famous people having sex with underage girls. Who has them? We don't need Epstein. You don't need him to authenticate them. You don't need it. Who has it? I don't want to hear about, well, Bill Clinton said that he liked it. Stop it. This is the only question. The only question. Everything else is a waste of time. I don't care about back rubs, Dershowitz, Hillary, David Copperfield, Michael Jackson, Prince Andrew. Now, Prince Andrew, you ought to hear the stuff that goes on in the background. The blinds, oh, dear God. Ain't going to go there. Not here, my friend, but it's a good one. Do you hear what we do? I guarantee you. I wish somehow somebody would say, we've changed this. And we found a place where we want you to enjoy the same ribaldry that the black performers have. We want you to really crank it up. Now, I asked you before, who today is this, what comedian, what white or comedian or non-black is just jaw-dropping, holy. This is where the real controversy takes place, is in black comedy. Who? I'll save you time. There is none. Nobody. They don't exist. It's milquetoast. There's nothing. Robin Williams? Jerry Seinfeld? Unbelievable. Look at this. All right. Sorry about that, my friends. I don't know. Sometimes I hit the wrong. It's very, very sensitive. The FBI has them. The FBI. The FBI. The FBI. You're kidding me, right? The FBI. Wait. The FBI. Dick. If you had to put your money on anything, do you think this is an FBI operation? Do you think that there's a room in the back where they kept this? Do you think that the FBI came in and said, well, everybody in arrest, let's go. Oh, what's this door here? Hey, there's all kinds of tapes here. Those things were recorded and delivered, and they weren't hanging around. Where do you think they are? Poor Sybil says, who is Katt Williams? Could someone please tell me? Sybil? There's this thing called Google. And if you put in that name, all of a sudden you say, whoa, look at all the stories. And that's a good start. That's a good start. But you're going to you're going to have to maybe go over and maybe type it in. I know. I know. It's backbreaking. I got to type it? Yes. Can't you just tell me? No, you got to kind of see, you got to kind of get a feel for this. Now, do you think, by the way, Kevin Hart, dear God, he destroys Kevin Hart. I love that. Now, let me ask you something. Who believes, you think it's the FBI? Do you think this is our government? Do you think this is an American government run thing? Are you serious? Do you think that there is an FBI agent, that there's a division, and somebody says, here you go, Ray and Merrick Garland, here are the tapes. Good. You keep those over there. Let's go through these later. Are you kidding? Huh? Who has them? What was the operation? Now, let me tell you something. There was one which is very, very good, and it's been stated, and many of us have been saying this a long time ago. Ehud Barak, former prime minister, big shot, big war hero with Israel. Epstein, his lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, fine. Les Wexner, goes on and on and on. If you found out, hey, it's a Mossad operation. Now, I'm not one of those people. I'm not. Some people, they love everything is Mossad this, Mossad that. I have a lot of respect for their intelligence operation. It's been suggested as of late. Ehud Barak, yeah, okay. You don't mean to tell me that ostensibly the most sophisticated, and don't give me that October stuff. Well, how come they caught with their pants down on October the 7th? Do you think so? Do you really think, seriously, does anybody here think that Israel or Mossad was fooled? Or they said, what? Wait a minute, you mean that those makeshift cities, that's what that was. For 2 years, you know what? Please. Look, I'm not reading into this. I'm not telling you what happened. I don't know. But if I had to start, and I'm the investigation cop, I'm going to say, we're going to go right there first. FBI? No. No. This ain't domestic. Period. This has all the, look at the, if all of a sudden you said, hey, look, you have you had Macron. You had the ambassador to France. You had the French diplomat. You had and Epstein was from France. I think you would say, it's probably maybe I think there's maybe a French connection to this thing, don't you think? FBI? No. That doesn't mean people don't share. That doesn't mean somebody says, listen, we'll show you ours, show me yours. Sometimes it's all the same thing. But you got to ask yourself, you got to ask people sometimes to pump the brakes and also to think concomitantly and have them open their minds. Now, listen to me. Stop for a second. It's time for me to talk about one thing: starvation. Starvation and the food disasters. We had a big snowstorm upstate New York. Nothing in the city, but still. Imagine, for some reason, because of supply chain disasters, one thing after another, it's a disaster. And there's stores that are closed, and you can't get to them. And and your kids are screaming and say, "What do we do? Where do we go?" They've got the bread here, got some potato chips here. We can go to some little quickie pep thing, but everything the store, the shelves are empty. Maybe because of who knows why. Can you go a week? No. 90 days? Are you kidding me? Now's the time to go to our good friends at, listen to the name, preparewithlionel.com, and look at what we're talking about. Listen to this and pay attention. They can't handle the truth, but you can. The truth is the clowns running this joint live for chaos. And many of our problems could be solved overnight, but they let them be. Destruction fuels them. If you can handle that truth, you need to visit my website, preparewithlionel.com. Preparewithlionel.com. You'll get $60 off a much-needed 4-week emergency food kit from My Patriot Supply. The country's largest preparedness company, My Patriot Supply, is your fighting chance at survival. Sealed inside rugged packaging, these delicious meals last up to 25 years and provide over 2,000 calories a day. Think about that. Eat right in emergencies with this 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supplies. At this low price, you can get one for everyone in your family. Visit preparewithlionel.com. Write this down. Commit it to memory. Preparewithlionel.com. Order by 3 p.m. for free same-day shipping. Prepare right now at preparewithlionel.com. One more time. Preparewithlionel.com before total chaos ensues. Ensues. A boy named Ensue. Now, by the way, I put a link up, I'll do it again, for my private channel, because my friends, what you're going to be seeing right now is a complete and total crunch of everything that is what we would normally be calling interesting speech. Now, I got to tell you something right now. I want to give you just a bit of a peroration. On January 3rd, I was familiar with Katt Williams. Katt Williams is somebody who is a comedian. And by the way, if ever you don't know what I'm talking about, a name, a word, a pronunciation, a fact, a state, go to Google, look it up. I don't understand it. Never say, who is he? Who is this? Katt who? Tennessee Williams. Who? Katt. Kathmandu? Catman Scruthers? No, it's Scratman. What? Wasn't he on what? Who am I? What is rap? Don't do that. Just always say, I'm going to check this out. I don't want to ask somebody. Once you see what's happening, you think, oh my God, it's everywhere. That's number one. Number two, it deals with an honesty I find so magnificently compelling. I want to live in a world where everything goes, where you can say whatever you want. It's the truth, or truth. It's the truth. It doesn't set you free. It'll shut you down. Ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you for being so special, each and every one of you. You wonderful, special people. You wonderful, great, and glorious folks. I also told you it's so important for you to help me and to support our dear Mrs. L by going to her website, her YouTube channel. She never plays blue, but that's it right there. Okay? Salty says the FBI protects us from people who hate us because of our freedoms. Something like that. Something like that. Sort of, I guess. Remember, we don't know anything. We don't know anything. Do you really think that Ghislaine Maxwell is a member of the evil parts of the world? Forget who her father was. Do you think Ghislaine Maxwell is this evil, horrible person? Ladies and gentlemen, Team Alaska, thank you. We gifted a membership. Join the... She's nothing. He was nothing. He's a pimp. Talitha's a pimp. He was nothing. The real issue is where he came from. Nobody goes there. Nobody's even asking. Disgraced financier. What do you mean financier? Nobody knows anything about him. He's a hedge funder. Ask people on the street. Have you ever heard of this guy? No. He's a currency trader? No. Eric Weinstein still has some of the best commentary there is. My God, man, think. These aren't the questions you should be asking. Don't get into, she's evil. She's nothing. She's just one gal who basically, I think, was in love with him and procured chicks They're doing this. They've been doing this at modeling agencies. They do it at clubs. They do it all the time. The world is so innocent. The first time they ever heard about this, really? Not to mention, you've got a never ending, they beat a path to your door. Women who would love to do this. They're underage. Nobody went out and threw them in the back of a van. Nobody. Now listen, I don't want to be cruel. Some women I thought were, you know what, might have really not known. But some of these folks are either stupid or they're just pulling this. Oh, I didn't know this. Well, I just thought I'd be a masseuse. I had no, really? What, you don't talk to each other? And Jouffre was probably was more than anything else. I mean, this story has taken off. I'm not saying it's not right. I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying it's right is what I'm saying. It's wrong. But for the love of God, if you want to know where the real trafficking is, go to the border. That's where it is. Sparky says, knew about Katt Williams for years, but didn't realize that he had hyperplexia as a child until I just listened to a recent interview. I have 2 close relatives with that rare and horrible affliction. For those now, so what is hyperplexia? Well, let me do this. Hyperplexia. That's a form of an apostrophe. Hyperplexia is a rare hereditary neurological disorder that may affect infants as newborns or prior to birth in utero. It may also affect children with disorder to have an excessive startle reaction, eye blinking or body spasms to sudden unexpected noise, movement, or touch. This is called hyperplexia. Is that what you're talking about? Let me get this. Let me check here. Are you talking about hyperplexia? You said hyperlexia. Let's see what hyperlexia is. Hyperlexia. Okay, hyperlexia is, let's see. Hyperlexia. Hang on. Oops, hang on a minute. Sorry. I like my first one, startle reflex. Hyperlexia is when a child can read at levels far beyond those expected for their age. Hyper meaning better than. Lexia, reading at a language. Hyperlexia. Sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Isn't that good? What is hyperlexia signs? Hyperlexia is when a child starts reading early and surprisingly beyond their expected ability. It's often accompanied by an obsessive interest in letters and numbers, which develops as an infant. Now, is this again? Isn't that good? I'm sorry, I don't want to be dumb. Or isn't that good? I'm hyperlexic. He had a difficult time sometimes. Sometimes he has trouble with some words. Cat cannot say peripheral to save his life, but what are you gonna do? But at least it's kind of a good mistake to me. Okay. 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 Now, look at this. Pierrette Gagnon on February 3rd. I celebrate my birthday. Happy birthday to you, my friend. All right, dear friends. Thank you. Have a great and a glorious in the day. Katt Williams, double up on the bodyguards. I'm not feeling good about this. I'm not feeling good. Sarcasm alert. Yes, indeed. Or sarcasm, which is another way of doing it. In any event, thank you, Sparky. Thank you, dear friend. Thank you for your kindness. Thank you for your perspicacity. Sparky, thank you. Team Alaska, thank you as well. And by the way, we will see you tomorrow at noon. I have a very early business meeting in the morning. I'm going to be doing a recording spot. So I'll be here at noon tomorrow. Okay, my dear friends? Who loves you? Who loves you? I love you. Thank you so much for everything you've attempted to do. Thank you for your attempt at being cognizant. I appreciate that immensely. You have no idea. Until tomorrow, my friends, I always say, and I remind you of this, please don't ever forget this. I beg you, I ask that you listen to me very carefully. I ask you to remember these words. Remember them. You know what they are. The monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. That's it.